there.
Broadcasting live.
Hey, we are
Hey.
here
Yeah.
with
All right.
none other than a couple guys from Steel City joining me on the Rocket with B Rock podcast. Um, the one up there in the corner, that is Mike, self-proclaimed Superman,
Yes.
shredder extraordinaire. He's got a whole list of
We got
shit
we
that
got
he
we got
thinks he
jokes
is.
tonight. We got
So,
jokes.
we always have jokes.
Yeah,
Remember Baltimore? That was
I was
just
giving
one laugh fest.
all the introductions. In case we have any of the Vulcan people here. We've
Right,
got
okay.
live
He's
long and prosper.
from a
Rock and
different
roll,
planet. Rock and
love,
roll,
peace.
love. He's okay.
Uh,
He's a guitar player for Roy. That is an improvement. I'm sorry, but I think you should just keep that on. None other than Roy Cathy down there on the bottom, which singers don't like that if they're on the bottom. They think they're supposed to be on the fucking top.
He's gonna go to he's gonna go to his trailer here in a minute.
I'm done. This is bullshit.
I'm going. Don't you know I played Hamlet in Cambridge? I'm going to my trailer.
Don't you know who I was?
Who I was.
Hey.
All right, so we got Mike Flores and Roy Cathy joining us. How you doing, guys?
Good, Mike. How are you? Thanks for having us.
I'm fabulous. Fabulous.
Fabulous.
At the end. Fabulous.
Fabulous.
That's
Okay.
usually Tuesday.
What I like to do before we start anything, get into all the logistics, all the bullshit. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you into music? We'll start with you, Mike. A band's made up of different personalities, and they all gel together and have chemistry. And let's get to know a little bit about you two and different personalities. What got you into music, and maybe influences back in the early days. Mike, you first.
Oh gosh, well, hey, where do you want me to start? My first love of music was probably I loved the Partridge Family. I went to see David Cassidy as my first concert, and then of course, yes, hey man, I think I love you, and yeah. Mom got me into music at an early age, man. Listened to a lot of old Elvis records, among many other wonderful artists that she brought back from the 50s that I would have to suffer through on Saturdays, listening to the Polish Prince, Bobby Vinton, or whatever. But, hey,
wow.
Man, yeah, good times. So, it started off with the Elvis, and, once I discovered Kiss, my whole world changed. And, Roy, the huge Kiss fan that he is, massive, loves Kiss. It's his favorite band.
I like Kiss. I like Kiss.
Sure you do. Sure, maybe the action of Kiss is like a lady, but yeah.
I don't worship them like some of you do. But I like it.
Well, it's because Gene Simmons. I worship Gene Simmons and his marketing techniques more than anything else, and that whole thing where he does he sings about underage girls and all kinds of cool stuff.
He's a mastermind at the.
But once Kiss came out, my whole attention probably shifted, and I got into like Kiss, Bad Company, Foghat. The first Boston record changed my life, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Roy was into polka at first, I believe, metal polka.
Wow.
But,
yeah, square dancing maybe a little bit.
No. Despite my southern roots. I was always pretty much a metal kid. I listened to hard rock, but I'm no different than anybody that grew up during the 70s. You grow up with the AM radio hits that my sisters were listening to. I grew up listening to a lot of Paul McCartney and Wings. It led into getting used records from my girlfriends or my sister's boyfriends. And I just stumbled into the whole thing of being in bands. Come to find out, my father's family had a background lineage of singing and musicality. And from there, I just took my own little musical journey. I was always amazed by the sounds and the melodies and stuff. And I guess that's why I kind of gravitated towards bands like, and I loved, Kiss and stuff like that, till I was about like maybe 12 years old. And then Queen hit me. I got hit by the Queen bug. and you know, and then Judas Priest came into my life, and then Black Sabbath, and then it opened up a whole door for me that was a lot more vocalists in the higher registers and stuff. So that's kind of what I gravitated to. But music's some of my very first memories as a child revolved around music. It revolved around hearing my sisters play Frampton Comes Alive over and over again. I remember Do You Feel Like I Do? I remember my sisters playing that all the time, and they had incense burning in their bedrooms. I mean, I remember that shit. You know what I mean?
I still burn incense in my rock room, man. Come on. You gotta have it.
Hey, I almost wore my Queen beanie tonight, you know, but I didn't want to mix bands because I'm repping some YNT.
Yeah,
so, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sucking ass.
I'm repping some Marvel.
Oh wow.
Kissing ass.
Yeah.
So you know, hey, you woke up with two things to do this morning. You know, drink milk and kiss a little Steel City ass.
You betcha.
I'm kidding, man.
Yep.
That's
no,
man,
kick a little Steel City ass, maybe, not kiss. Never. You're our boy, dude. We love you.
Music has just always been a part of my life. It's been intertwined in so many memories of my childhood, going in through your adolescent years, and I mean, like anyone, you can hear certain songs and it takes you immediately to a point in your life. So that's what music. That's how it's always been for me. So.
And that's exactly right. I mean, it does. It takes you way back. I mean, I could pop on an album right now. Like you mentioned Judas Priest. I was into like Kansas and like Journey and them bands, Molly Hatchet, Bachman Turner Overdrive, old Ted Nugent. And then that Judas Priest Point of Entry album hit. And I took one listen of Headed Out to the Highway and Solar Angels. And over with. Then it was new wave of British heavy metal, power singers, Iron Maiden, Saxon, them guys with that register, man, that just spoke. And now I put on that album and it takes me right back to when I first heard it, and it's like, wow, brings back all them memories, and that got me into music too. Judas Priest.
That's the magic of music. The magic of music.
Yeah, playing air guitar in my grandmother's basement, man, to Point of Entry. Yeah, exactly.
Have you gotten any better at it? I mean,
air guitar?
Guitar in general.
It's a labor of love, man. That's all I can say. One of these days, I hope to actually get a real guitar.
Wow.
Someday.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Dude, if you start
by the end of the.
One day I want to hear Mike play through a real amp.
Oh, shit, there we go. It's on now.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. One day it may happen, dude. One day.
One day.
Makes life a lot easier.
I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't played through a tube amp. I think I was talking about this with somebody the other day. I haven't played through an actual tube amp since like 1986.
Wow.
Yeah.
86.
And I haven't played through an amp since like, oh shit, I don't know. Unless they run me through one at these shows, I haven't played through an amp in like, oh gosh, since 1999.
Come back to the dark side, man.
Nah,
come back to the dark side.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I like what I got, man. I like being able to pack all my shit in just like a little bag and take it on an airplane. That's fun.
Exactly. Now, okay, 2018 is when it was Steel City was founded. Now, when I hear the name Steel City, when I first heard the name Steel City, I thought one thing. I'm like, okay, they're from Pittsburgh.
Wrong.
I know.
Incorrect.
I was wrong. I know this.
Wrong.
But
that's
the band's name. Where did the band's name derive from? Set us straight.
Okay, there it is. Well, back in the good old days of America, Youngstown, Ohio was one of the largest steel producing cities in the United States. It was part of the Rust Belt, from Cleveland, Akron, Pittsburgh, that whole area. And Youngstown was affectionately known. The nickname of the town was the Steel City. Pittsburgh, of course, was the Iron City. And Pittsburgh's also where they have that terrible football team that.
Oh, come on! All right, you're out of here. All right, just me and you now, Roy.
where Franco fumbled that ball. You know, he trapped that ball.
Dude,
excuse me.
don't even start.
But you know, in any event, you know, it came from the nickname of Youngstown, Ohio, which is my hometown.
Okay.
So there it is. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here with two Steelers fans, so I'm going to talk as much trash as I possibly can.
Hey man, I'll just get you off here. I control this thing, so don't piss off the host.
That's okay.
You heard him. He's still talking about that damn fumble.
Well, I'm sorry. It wasn't a fumble. It was actually a trapped ball. My bad.
No.
Yeah. Well, I misspoke because that's only second to probably the worst call in NFL history, which we all know Tom Brady really did fumble that ball in the snow. But I digress.
He's just heartache for years. You got heartache for years.
Yeah, I do. But
that's all it is. Holding on to it. I mean, just let it go.
It's deep, like deep in here.
Deep in there, man. It's just like it's going to be a song someday.
It could be.
I mean, one of them songs is depressing blues.
Me staring down at my shoes the whole time when I'm playing it. Yep, exactly. Little shoegaze. That's it. But hey, we're here with Captain America. But we, you know, that's right. I thought we were here with Aquaman, but that's okay.
I am the Aquaman.
I am the Aquaman. I'm Batman. Hey. All right, cool. All right, your first release was Fortress.
Yep.
I did not know about you guys in 2018 when that hit. For some reason, I was under a rock. That hit in 2018. You had a totally different lineup. You were on guitar, Brian Cole was on vocals, Scott West bass, and Ron McCloskey on drums.
Yes.
This lineup didn't last very long.
No, it did not.
It didn't last very long at all. What happened? Couldn't get together a lot. Oh, you're a dick. Okay, you are Superman.
Actually,
Roy wants to agree so bad, but he wants to stay in the band.
No. Well, apparently Roy wants to be the asshole, and he's wearing a shirt that says Captain, so he's Captain asshole. I prefer Admiral myself, but that's just me.
Admiral ass.
Yes, that's it. No, actually, it was. Brian was. Strange thing is, I referred Brian to Dwayne Morano so he could do some vocal tracking with Morano for his album, and Brian just ended up being a better fit for Morano, man, and that's that's kind of where his heart was at, doing that and his solo thing. Scott, the bassist, he ended up getting promoted. He was, we all have like other jobs. Scott got promoted to president of his company, so that kind of limited whatever role he was going to have in Steel City. And
damn day jobs.
Yeah, he and Ron are best friends, so it was kind of like a package deal. I knew when Scott was gone and Ron was going with him, but it was me and Tony that were, we were the lone holdovers from the original lineup. Right. And credit and kudos to John Kibble for kind of putting this lineup together. I kind of had to win these guys over and sell them on the fact that Steel City was going to be viable moving forward, but John kind of had a hand in it. He asked me if I'd be interested in having Roy Cathy sing vocals. I'm like, duh. Yeah, and then of course, I'm going to do my Roy imitation. He's like, well, Mac, I just want to make sure this is going to be a good project for all of us. Then I talked to Jason. I met Jason at NAMM. I think it was in 2019.
Horrible.
And
that's horrible.
Everybody thinks I do a great Roy. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there.
I'm just neutral. I'm Switzerland here today.
Okay. All right, Switzerland. But no, so I mean, it's like we had the new lineup come in, and the Mach 2 was kind of built around that. The name of the album kind of signified. Not only was it, of course, album number 2, but it's kind of a little bit of a shift in a direction. We were just kind of forging forward with a new group of guys and a strong, what we felt was going to be a stronger album. And
you may be right about that.
And and not to take anything away from Fortress, because those guys are all killer, and I love those guys. We're still friends. We still hang out. When I go back to Youngstown, and I still talk to Brian Cole. It's just it was just a shift. Yeah, I do.
I used to like you, Scott.
I had to put it up there just so that you get in trouble. I'm not going to hide it.
That's right.
Roy's
Well,
after you now, Scott.
well, it's like Billy DiNapoli from Wild America. He and I, we'll chat every now and again on the phone, and we start off with, well, Mac,
Oh,
he's got that.
God. He's
Yeah.
got that Boston, Connecticut accent.
What are you talking about?
New
Billy,
York, talking about.
You don't got no. How you doing?
See, that's the thing. Go ahead.
In all actuality, I'm taking the insults from a couple of Yankees accents with a grain of salt.
Wow. I wasn't even insulting you, and you were saying, and now I'm lumped in. Roy, you're out of here now. I don't give a shit.
Well,
both of you are going to be out of here. It's just going to be me pretty soon.
Let me see if I can do it right. Well, B-Rock, I sure do like being on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice.
It's fabulous.
Now, favorite song off the Fortress album. Fortress to me is like it's more rock than melodic, and I know you guys are lumped in the melodic category. I do. I lump you in there. You have different categorizations. Is melodic rock. You got hair metal, which Mike, you have no hair, so you can't be in there.
We're hairless metal, and I defy description, sir. Thank you very much. All music defies category.
Discrimination, man. I used to have hair.
I'll be in my trailer.
Then you got Arena Rock. What would you guys say you are? What would you categorize?
Dude, I think we're just hard rock and roll. We do get lumped in with that melodic rock thing, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that with this album, we kind of put keys on every song, because again, Tony and I talked about it, and we really kind of wanted to go for a little bit of a different sound. We wanted to put a little bit of that Deep Purple vibe on there with the keys. So we have a lot of Hammond B3, and we wanted that vibe going in. And I think Roy's range. I think Roy, just what he does. No, I mean, because he's a different singer. You got Brian, who kind of falls in that Michael Sweet thing, and then Roy comes in with his balls out Judas Priest, Ronnie James Dio badassery. It kind of changes the vibe of the band.
He's laughing at Scott. I'll put up everything.
Smooth metal. Now I got an image of Rob Halford dressed in some type of Elton John suit thing.
Nice.
That's right.
Nice. I expect that next show. Roy Cathy come out as Elton John, sporting big sunglasses, floofies.
I've got my Elton Johns on tonight. But
yeah, you see that.
No,
you always have them on.
Favorite song from Fortress? Mine's probably Passing Ships. If I had to pick one,
I love it.
That's I think it's just got a lot to offer. I know Roy's favorite song off of Fortress is "Rockin' the USA." That's his absolute favorite. He loves to play it live. He really does.
Ellen, that sounds like freaking sarcasm again. I'm not going to know whether to take you. You're out of here. Goodbye. Okay, sit back and let the guys talk. Okay, Roy, how you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing. I'm saying
nothing. Nothing. Now, Rockin' the USA, that's really not my favorite. I mean, that's a kind of song. Yeah. I'm just being honest. I'm more of Turnaround, dude. That is my
good song.
That's my favorite song off the record.
Credit Roy, because he wanted that to be the opener. We used to open with Hearts on Fire, and we kind of switched up the set list a little bit because Turnabout's probably a little bit more. Hearts on Fire is a great opener, but Turnabout just kind of grabs you right from the get-go. That was his idea.
Good. So, obviously, that's your most favorite song to play live.
Props to the Southern Gentleman.
That one.
What, Turnabout?
Yeah.
It's a fun.
My favorite one to play live. I would have to say probably I enjoy doing Spotlight a lot. I like that song. Yes. Because it's just got a different kind of vibe from the rest of the Steelcity catalog. It's just the arrangement's different. The sound of it's different. I really dig that one a lot. But overall, it's been the entire Steelcity project, having to come into a situation with a band that's already had a release prior, respect to Brian. He's a great singer. We have similar tones in certain songs and stuff like that. But I have a bit more of an edgier voice, a little bit more bong resin and attitude. I'd like to think, and
bong resin.
But anyway, it's been cool. Kind of the more shows that we do, the more levity Mike has given me to kind of put my own spin on the songs, as far as making it a little bit more my own. So,
and in the end, that's what you want. You want. There might be somebody else that did it on the album, but you guys are playing it live, and you're not just a fill-in. You're the lead singer of Steelcity, so you're going to make them songs your own.
Right, absolutely. Right. And once again, a tip of the hat to Mike. Mike has always given me, the chance to kind of, do my own thing, even when it came to the writing of the Mach 2 record. He was like, hey, if there's something that you hear, if you want to take it to another place, if you feel free, and I stayed mostly in the template that Mike gave me, but there were parts that I felt I needed it to do my thing, and he was cool with it. So it's been a lot of fun. The whole project has.
Okay, RC. I don't know how to say it, but his name is RC. He wants to know. Mommy's home. Jerk. He wants to which song is the favorite song? Yep. Okay. Because that's mine too. And you guys exited it from the Mork thing you did, and you exited.
It's down to one.
Look,
it's
on there. Down to one. I got the set list, but you guys screwed up the set list. Okay. You screwed up your own damn show, didn't put my song on there. And then at Cancun Cantina, nope.
Well, hey, Cancun, let me clear up the Cancun Cantina thing. Because one of the things that somebody said in one of the reviews was, I don't know why they would cut two of their own songs and play some covers. Well, because we had three songs. We had three songs left in our set, and we were approached it. Can you guys cut two songs? So we had three songs to choose from, and we just basically went with the last one, which was our closer, which is She Sells Sanctuary. That's the only reason why. Had we known going in, we probably would have cut the two covers and played the two songs. But it happens. It is what it is.
A lot of bands play covers, and that. I've always taken if a band throws a cover or two into their set, it is basically showcasing the band that, okay, yeah, we can play our songs, but we're pretty, Roy's showcasing his vocals, where Ian, from the Cult, he's got a range like all day long, all night long. And, it's a showcase. You're just really showcasing, and it gets the crowd more pumped up because this is something they know. A lot of people at the Cancun show, I was one of them, and amazing show. But a lot of people, that was their first time seeing you. That was my first time seeing you. And, so, you're trying to get, the crowd riled up and, throw in a cover tune there. It makes sense. Some people don't like it. Some people love it.
Well,
I like it.
Also, in our defense, as far as Down to One goes, my girlfriend Connie loves that song. She loves it to death.
She does.
She's been really upset that we haven't played it both times either. When you put out a record, you kind of have your own mental favorites that you kind of like, and you kind of want to almost impose that on the audience. And the audience, a lot of times, they have ones that they pick out, and we're finding out from the fans that Down to One is turning out to be one of those songs that is not on the B or C side of the list that we can cut at the whim. We need to think about moving it a little bit more into the meat of the set and feature it more, because I mean, look, man, when I mean, not just because my girlfriend's chewed my ass out about it. Just
everybody is.
I've had people like RC. I've had people like you. I mean, so people really like that song. So we've got to start playing it. So.
Yeah, it's funny because as Roy was talking, I was thinking to myself, we got to move that song up in the set.
But
so
I got
on the same page.
I got I got to see it live, although it was sound check. I got to see it live. So everybody else could eat their damn heart out. I actually got to see Steelcity perform that song. And I'll tell you, that song, a lot of bands, like Iron Maiden ends an album with a total rocker, Metallica, total rocker. You guys ended Mach 2 with a song that absolutely just will, every single time I hear it, it gives you chills. You're just like transported into, I mean, that song just is amazing. It leaves, the song isn't long enough to me. It should be like 45 minutes long just because it's you don't want that thing to end. I never want that song. I'll go and rewind it.
I've got to be honest and a little confession. Whenever it goes into Mike's acoustic guitar solo, I feel like Antonio Banderas. The wind's going through my hair. Right. I feel it takes me somewhere, man. It's amazing.
And it's right at that moment that Roy like looks in the mirror and then he says, "I am poor."
Oh my God.
Hey, take it easy.
Hey, we have no time for a chit chat.
It's just a guitar.
I am Zorro. I am here to rescue.
I hung out with these guys in Baltimore for a weekend, and this is how the whole weekend went. I mean, so I knew exactly what to expect. You guys are getting a taste of, but they ain't easy to hang out with. I mean, they're really easy. They're a blast. I
wonder where Jason is.
Well, Jason, as we know, is always the guy that's fashionably late.
And he's on a beach.
But again, he's a busy man. He's got a lot of projects going on, so I'm sure if he can't join us, then so be it.
That song should not be on the chopping. It will not.
I do believe that's RC again. That's RC again. Yep.
Yeah, it won't be on the chopping block definitely for the next few shows for certain. It's going to be in the meat of the set, probably somewhere around song 4 or 5, so we can make sure that everybody gets to hear it. And and then Roy gets to be Antonio Banderas in the middle of the set, So, and we'll get like a fan like right there. So as I'm playing that solo, we'll hold the fan up to Roy's face, so we can have the hair
going, man. It'd be
yeah, exactly.
Got a cape now. That'd be cool, like Masquerade. I know you guys are on the bill for that, and that's going to be. A costume party and an event. So
true.
What are we dressing up as? Who's dressing up as Antonio Banderas?
Well, apparently it's going to be Roy. I'm going to go as the Flash, but since I have a little bit of a gut, I'm going to go as what they call Fat Flash.
Fat Flash.
Yeah. Fat Flash.
PHAT.
Yes.
Pretty hot and
tempting. Yeah, that's going to be me. I'm going to go as Fat Flash.
I'm going as the Flash because unfortunately I have to flash in and then flash right back out. Because
that's true.
I have to. My guitarist for the 5th, Mr. Justin Womble, is getting married. So I cannot miss his nuptials. He made it quite clear to me. He said, "Roy, if you miss my wedding for a Steelcity gig, I quit."
Whoa.
Yeah, well, well, here's the thing about that too. It was really kind of cool what ended up happening there. It's fortuitous because I'm talking to Roy on the phone, and I said, here's the thing, Roy. I said, I can get us our tickets. I'm looking at the flights, and as I'm talking to Roy, he goes, "Okay, go ahead and book it. Go ahead and book it." So then I go to book the flights that I just told Roy about. And literally within 5, maybe 10 minutes, those flights were gone because Southwest was having that sale.
$59 sale. Yep, or the half
So
off.
I looked at flights through Dulles. I looked at flights through Reagan. I looked at flights through BWI. I could not get them. I could not get Royal Flight back early enough. So I told Brad, and Brad said, "Well, we'll just have you guys, play on Thursday night." So it worked out. It's fortuitous, and we've got a better slot on Thursday night now, and we're gonna have a good time, man. And
Yep.
And Roy's gonna be there for Justin's nuptials because, as I told Roy, family first for everything, man.
Yeah, man.
For everything, absolutely.
And so he's going to be there. He's going to be able to watch Justin grab hold of Love's undying hand.
Yes, that's right, baby.
Say yes to Jesus. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember Coming to America.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The Arsenio Hall part. Where he's like gonna grab hold of Love's undying hand. Yeah, there you go. But good for Justin, man.
You are like the impersonator of the band. I mean, all you do is, impersonate other people. Well, how do we impersonate Mike Flores? Is it like that Superman thing, or
just suck at guitar and you have me down, man.
Oh wow! Well, I could be Mike Flores.
That's right. That's all you gotta do.
That's about it.
That's it. Just make some stuff up.
So whenever you fire him, Roy, I'm available. I'm in.
Now this is Mike the day before show. He's like,
oh yeah, dude, I'm like this.
Wound up so tight, man.
I might be wound up.
Dude, take it easy,
dude. He sat there before the BLE show, before the one at Cantina in May. I heard from him. I hadn't heard from him in months. I heard from him all week leading up to this. Oh my God, I just want it to go great. Mike, I kept telling him, Mike, chill, you're good. It's going to be great. Then in the hotel that night, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, Mike, chill. I'm like, go, geez. He's a nervous wreck. How do you put up with that?
It's nerve wracking. I'm telling you, the guy's a great player. He's a great songwriter.
Exactly.
It's just when he starts moving closer to show day, he gets wound up tighter than a fucking top.
He wants everything to be so perfect that he thinks it's going to be,
It's never going to be perfect. It is never live rock and roll shows are never going to be perfect. It's never going to sound like the album. You go. That's why I'm just like plug into that bad boy and just fucking do it,
Mistakes and all, man. That's what makes a live show a live show. Broken strings, mic doesn't work, anything. That was, if I wanted a replication of the album, I'd sit at home and listen to the album. I want to hear it raw, intense, good,
Yeah. Well, see, I like the whole aspect because Steelcity is a very polished band. I mean, we have the keyboards, we have the background vocals. It is a polished production. But when you see Steelcity live, it is by far a different animal. It's a lot more on the edgier, raw version. The way that I would like to describe it is like the album is like the background band is Styx, okay?
Right.
But then when you come see us live, it's like all of a sudden, oh, there's Skid Row,
right?
with a keyboard player. How did that happen?
I mean,
so the band.
Exactly.
The funny thing is when you listen to Mach 2, like, because you guys, Roy, I think might have had the opportunity to hear him, but when you listen to the demos to Mach 2, without the keyboards, it is Skid Row. The keyboards change the dynamic of every song. I mean, these songs are like ridiculous. They sound like A Little Love is like super heavy without the keyboards.
Right.
And even our old label said that. He goes, this sounds like Skid Row. And I thought it was. Can't pull a pin out of Mike's ass with a tractor.
That's the truth too. I mean, Scott, that nail on the head there. I mean, that dude is like, man, it's watertight, man.
Yeah, but I think I relaxed at this gig a little bit more once it was over.
No, you didn't.
Once the show was over, it was like the next day, even.
I just want you to plug into the amp, man, because you're like doing kettlebells with that fucking amp thing of yours, trying to get them up to the stage.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
Right?
Here we go. Here we
I
go.
mean,
I don't know, it's National Pick on Mike Day, but all right.
Hey.
That's fine.
Hey, I'm all about it. Wait a minute. It depends on which mic. Okay.
I think it's going to be you. I
No.
think that's the guy we need to pick on.
Hey man, I control everything here on this little screen, so you can go bye-bye. I
Sure.
wouldn't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Next
All right.
question.
Next question. Now, Mach 2 hit March of 2020. That came out. I remember,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for it. I got the first single. I think Dawn hit me with Hearts on Fire. She's like, Mike, you got to hear this, because Dawn Hahn. She's like, Mike, you got to hear this. I think we're going to sign these guys, blah, blah, blah. So she sends me this song, Hearts on Fire. Okay, don't hate me. I didn't like it. I'm like, wait a minute. What? Are you kidding me? Some music, it takes me a couple listens to, and then I'll get it. Like, some don't grab you right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden is my favorite band, and they didn't grab me when I was in high school. I mean,
Right.
it didn't happen till later on in life. But I liked them, but I really wasn't a fan. But then, the album comes out, and I get more songs. So, it grabbed me right off the rip. So then I'm sitting there going, all right, March, you release the album. I know it's coming. And we got Ballroom Blitz coming up, and I'm like, okay, we're going to do shows. We're going to get Steelcity on the shows. They're going to, start hitting it, and then bam. World shuts down. Steelcity, you guys released that album the 13th, and I think everything shut down a couple days after that. It was like the 15th or the 18th, where everything just completely shut down. I had flights booked, and it was gone.
Oh, yeah. We know. We know.
You guys were sitting there with this new album,
Yeah.
wanting to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Had there been, I know as a fan standpoint, I've been wanting to see you. I finally saw you all year. I'm like, man, hopefully this gets off, and we get out there, we can see it. And from a band standpoint, that had to have been absolutely terrible.
Well, it's like pulling teeth. It was horrible. I mean, because the album itself was delayed. It was actually supposed to be out in August the year prior.
Right.
And so, we just kept, we kept having delay after delay, and we ended up switching record companies in the process. And so then it comes out, and we're like, we have to get this album out in March. We have to get it out because people have been waiting for it. We're all getting texts and emails and PMs and all this stuff saying, when's this album going to come out? So we get it out there, and then right as we do, COVID.
I mean, so you guys basically caused it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like, yeah,
totally. It was rough, but
not allowed to go on tour.
Yeah. It was very hard because I was just coming off the 2020 Monsters of Rock cruise with
Right.
Cold Sweat, and we had we had Frontier reps on the boat that came off the boat, and they were we were in discussions of a live record and doing some festival dates, and I knew that I had the Steel City record about to come out. The Fifth was about to finish putting together the last touches of our record that's about to come out, and then just everything just all shit the bed, Yeah, I mean, I had 3 records coming out, and Mike, to his credit, he put his head down and was like, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and go forward with this," and it's been a tough road, but I'm glad that we got it out there.
Right now, you got. I knew Cold Sweat was about to hit. 2020, everything was about to just explode, and it didn't. But Morg did a pretty good job of. Doing the live streams and everything like that. And you guys were on the live stream one time, and I remember that. It's like, okay, I got to tune in because who knows when I'm going to be able to see these guys live. And you guys owned that shit. I mean, I was like, wow, okay, they're you and Westbound were on there.
Yeah.
And both bands just, killed it. Westbound, I think right after their set, I went on ordered their CD. I was like, I gotta have this. But both you guys, killed it. So how was
thank
that? You hadn't played, really, I don't know when you played before the album come out, because I don't know. I didn't really know much. But yeah, so this was actually your second gig as a band.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the new with the lineup the way it is now, that was your second gig, and you owned that shit.
And a different drummer.
Yeah,
Right.
and a different drummer.
And keyboard player.
And keyboard player.
Right. That's right. It was only
Yeah.
you, Jason.
Me, Jason, and Roy.
Roy.
And then Derek sat in. Derek Pontier was sitting in for BJ because BJ couldn't make it out due to COVID. Ditto for Tony. So, we had some guys come in, and, like I said, Adam Perry played keyboards, and then Derek Pontier played drums for us. And it was a unique situation, to say the least. Every single show that we've ever had has been somewhat of a unique situation. When we rolled into to do our first show as with the new lineup in New England Rock Fest, we didn't even get to rehearse. We just walked out, pretty much shook hands on stage, and played.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
hey, nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you. Okay, let's go.
Let's do this.
Yeah,
it worked out pretty damn good,
And it was, that was Billy again. I bring him up again, but Billy DiNapoli was like, dude, he goes, I don't know how you guys pulled that off. He goes, God bless you. He goes, you actually kicked ass. He goes, it was pretty amazing. And, it's great to have friends like that, he will tell you the truth. He's like, holy crap, that was actually pretty cool. But, and then we do the Monsters of Rock thing. We had a couple of days to rehearse, even, coming in for, the show with you guys, we had one day. And that's,
you had one day.
So for us, what we do is we just do all of our homework beforehand, and, we're all just rehearsing perpetually rehearsing prior to any of our shows. And then we just come in, make sure we get everything tight, and we just go. We just let it rip, as Roy says.
Yep. Yep. You guys had that sound check or the practice, the day before the show. And it was like you guys are in the same room every day. I mean, that sound check, that practice was absolutely phenomenal. And I know Mike was like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this. I could have done. I'm like, Mike, settle down. You were good. It's going to be fine.
That's really one of the pleasures of this thing, because everybody that's been involved in it have been extremely professional. And, if you go in with your homework done and everybody knows what they're doing, and if you're pros, you're supposed to be able to go in there and do these types of things. Now, does it make it any less anxiety ridden? No, it doesn't. No. But, for me, I've learned, the New England Rock Fest was a perfect example of one of those situations where I myself as a front man kind of was like, okay, come on, boys, let's go. I'm gonna fucking take us home. Let's get it's like, it was one of those situations where it was like, it's you just gotta kind of come together, or you're gonna fall apart, and if I would like to think that if anybody else would have been up there at that show, Mike would have been up shit creek without a paddle, but he's got a pretty solid front man at his side now. And, so we were able to, pull it together. But this has always been a unique project because you do have members scattered literally all over the country. So we don't have the luxury of getting together and rehearsing once, twice a week, playing a show once a month, twice a month, because we all live in close proximity to one another. We don't have that. It's like, you got to study, you got to keep your chops up. And when you get the call, it's like you're an MMA fighter that's like on standby. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to always be training. You got to be ready for the fight. So.
For people that don't know, Roy lives in North Carolina. Mike lives in Los Angeles, California. I think Jason is in Boston.
Yes.
Yes.
Tony's in New York.
Tony's in New York.
Derek's in
and
Vegas.
Derek's in Vegas.
Like they're all over the country. So when they say, they don't have a lot of time to practice, usually they show up and kill it. That's it. And, to your credit, I'm in the crowd. I was at the crowd, or was in the crowd at the BLE show. And you get people that walk up, being with BLE, people come up and say things, fans talk amongst themselves. And everybody that I talked to said you guys owned it. They were like, they own it. And
Well, that's kind.
it's a credit to you guys because you guys don't get that practice. You guys don't get that time together. So it just shows the professionalism and the talent that is in this band. And it is noticeable. It was noticeable to me right off the rip when I heard it, besides Hearts on Fire. Right when I heard so
wow. No
I
worries.
like it now, but it's not
No.
my favorite. I mean, but you go through that CD, Mach 2, and you even go back to Fortress, and it's a great CD. It's just, it's not Roy's vocals.
There's always that one song or two songs.
There's always one. I don't skip it, but it's just not the favorite. I mean, but it's a great song. Believe me, everybody loves it. And
but
I'm
one
that
thing
guy.
one point I'd like to make to finish up the whole thing about how the band operates is we don't get that luxury to practice. We do have to just start and study and have our chops and come in and be prepared. But as everyone knows that's been involved in music or projects or anything, the more a band plays together, the more they gel, the more that they become more of a unit to where they each know what the other member is thinking about. I shudder to think how good this band could be if we would get that chance to be able to do that. And I, that's one of the things that still keeps me excited each show, because you always want to get better, and you always want to top yourself. But for us, it's a situation to where we're almost starting from scratch each show. You know what I mean? It's like we're not getting the chance to be like, you're doing a 2-week tour and, you're getting your legs the first 2 shows, 3 shows. By show 4 or 5, you kind of got your rhythm. Everybody knows the set and you're cooking. We don't get that. We just kind of Mike throws us on a plane and we just fucking hope for the best.
If I was gonna mention that if you guys are this good without all the practice, without all the, this and that, being together and gelling and the chemistry being there and knowing what each other's going to do and feeding off each other and knowing this, imagine, when you guys, like you said, do get going and get it going. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. The sky is the limit.
Hey, guys, I want to shout out to my boy John Cashin, who's tuning in. He just said, "Hey, Mike, give us a shout out." Well, there it is. Shout out, John Cashin. Out. Spotlight on John Cashin. There you go. Okay.
He shouteth outeth.
That's right.
Outeth. Okay.
Rock and Pop.
Yes, that's where I was going. Okay, show's coming up. What do you got?
Well, I think that, the Rock and Pod thing is going to be pretty exciting. Roy is going to be part of the Rare Hair thing on Friday night.
August 6th, 7th, and 8th. You guys are the Rare Hair thing is the 6th or the 7th?
Yeah, so Roy's it's on the 6th, and Roy's on the bill for the Rare Hair, so he's going to be out there, belting and crooning and making his cameo appearances. And then on Saturday,
hair going, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Roy fucking Cathy, man.
Word has it, I may be doing a Blue Murder song because somebody may be playing drums. That's all I'm at liberty to say.
I heard this.
Wow.
I heard the same thing.
All I know is Roy. I know I can't be your +1, but putting it out there. But
you ain't got good enough hair, Mike.
I know. That's part of it.
Honestly, I was surprised that they called me, and I'm always very honored to be be recognized, to be recognized for my talents and stuff. So
Dude, and you will own that. I mean, that is Blue Murder is perfect.
Yeah. Valley of the Kings.
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
Dude,
nice.
you're gonna do it justice. Now, one thing, how do you keep this day and age with everybody losing their chops? I mean, I'm not gonna mention any names, but everybody bitches about the same musicians and how they lose their voice. How is your voice so? I mean, you could go back and listen to the Cold Sweat record, which I do, and not much has changed. I mean, from when from then till now, and that's 31 years, because that came out in 1990, and you were 19 years old when that record came out.
Oh, right? No, God, no, not that young. I wish, because
I was just gonna.
He was 47 when that album
47.
Came out.
Wow, you look good for 83, Roy. Botox and Jesus. Wow.
Human growth hormone, the whole thing. I mean, baby's blood, you name it.
How do you keep that voice in tip-top shape? I mean, I've seen you work it out, but
honestly, man, I came from a sports background. I was heavily into sports and training and all that kind of stuff before I got into singing. So when I got into singing, I immediately got into a type of singing where you had to have a high end and, you had to really be able to hit the high notes. So I never smoked cigarettes. You know what I mean? I never got into heavy drinking. I never got into heavy drug use. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I am no angel by any stretch of the imagination. And I have done more than my share of the excesses of rock and roll through the years. But I would like to consider myself as Mr. Moderation. I was always the guy that, as much shit as I got, I was always the one that would dip out early from the after hours parties. I'd always try and get my sleep, and I approached it as a fighter would approach, a fight, or a athlete would approach anything. I always took it seriously.
Right.
So I think you compound that over the years, and I've always tried to improve my technique, and I just through the years, through being self-taught, I've just kind of honed my own niche, and I'm very thankful that I've been able to hold on to my high note and hold my voice.
You have, and it shows. And these, like you said, these guys that have done the total drinking, the total drugs, and abused themselves, they don't have their voice anymore. And if they could go back, and a lot of them say if they could go back, they would change some things.
Yeah,
I mean, you just.
The difference, for singers, is our instrument is our body. Our instrument is literally our body. So it's like every drug, every drink, everything that you do is going to have an adverse effect. There's a cause and effect for everything. You do too much blow, it drains into the back of your throat. It numbs you out. You sing too hard. You start singing too hard. You know what I mean? Yep. I mean, you drink too much. It dehydrates you. The next more. So, you're drinking. So what do? You drink more, and then you drink too much water, and then it's like you gas out on stage. I mean, I've seen so many singers do just stupid shit, and I still see it. And those guys are so much more famous than I am. And I'm like going, why are you fucking drinking? Why are you? I'm not mentioning any names, okay? But the 5th, we did an opening slot for a band, and he started the show. He was fucking great, man. And then about halfway through the show, the guitar player does this guitar solo, and I knew the people that ran the show and that were backstage, and this guy did like 13 shots of Jägermeister in this just short period of time, to where it's like to almost like alcohol poisoning stage.
Jesus.
And by the time he walked back out there, This guy literally was falling back on the fucking
Oh my God.
kick drum and shit. You know, and then you're like, oh well, there, you know, there goes the rest of the night, you know. So
and as a fan, that shit turns me off. I seen a band for the first time one time. They absolutely kicked ass. They're a North Carolina-based band. I won't say any names, but they absolutely kicked ass at their record release party in Charlotte. And the second time I seen them was at another show. A couple bands got canceled. They did a little show with another band, you know, and they were completely trashed. And I was like, okay, now if I didn't see them before, when I know when they're sober and having a good time, you know, this time I saw them when they've been drinking all damn day. You know, they basically sucked. And I was, but I will go see them again because I know what they're like when they exit that shit. And you know, us fans don't want to see you drunk on stage. No. I mean, we pay money. I mean, and you're trying to make a living. I don't go to work drunk. I'm not allowed. You're working. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Have a couple beers, but don't get sloshed. I mean, your performance is shit.
And that really comes from one of the first. You know, my father managed my band. When I started singing, my father actually managed my band, Gibraltar. So when I was touring up and down the East Coast, when I was like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, my father was the guy that drove the equipment truck. He negotiated with the club owners. He was our manager. And since he was the manager, he bought all the PA. He had all the lights. We had the truck. I mean, I was literally the family business. And I'll never forget my dad telling me at a very early age when we first really started playing a lot, we started playing like 3-4 nights a week. He goes, son, he goes, we are hired to help these people throw a party. There is always time for you to have your party afterwards.
Right.
But in the meantime, it's your job to make sure you put on the best show that you can, to make sure these people have the best time that you possibly can imagine. That way we get invited back to the club.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that has always stuck with me and has made me, you know, have a reputation of being professional, because it's like, you know, I mean, you just don't show your ass, man.
Right.
Just be cool, man.
I've noticed a lot of bands that are leaning that way. Now at the Cancun show back in May, every single band, that was a special day. I'm glad you guys were there. I mean, that was such a special day. You know, you had Stairway to Heaven, you had Wild America, Native Sons, Whiskey Grin, Steelcity, Kickin' Valentina. It was like magic that day. I mean, it was hot. It was great. Every band brought their A game, you know, and that's what it seems like happens nowadays. Is a lot of bands are like, you know what, the party's afterwards. We'll drink afterwards.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're all getting on board with it because they see these bands that, you know, go out there trash. I've seen Janie Lane. You know, no offense to Janie Lane, no freaking anything. But there was a show he did with that I was in attendance to with Trickster and Firehouse. He was falling all over the stage. It's like, man, you know. Yeah. But I was falling all over the floor of the arena. So, you know, I was like, hey, man, he's the greatest. You know,
that's my guy.
Yeah, I want to be just like him. Believe me, I tried.
You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah, but you know, go ahead.
We were excited to do that show in May because, you know, especially, you know, and I can't speak for the rest of the band, but you know, for myself, I was really, I guess the reason why I was so intense on the way I carried myself for that show is because it was our first show with our management company, which is, you know, BLE. But to go there, to get there, you know, we're already friends, you know, with Stairway to Heaven and Wild America. But to meet Kickin' Valentina and become friends with those guys, and, you know, Asphalt Valentine, you know, and Native Sons. I mean, to me, it was great, and it's great to watch all of these younger bands, especially guys like Native Sons, who are carrying the torch and bringing things forward. And, you know, just again, the amount of professionalism at that show from the bands was just second to none.
Yes.
And
Yes.
can't wait to play with those guys again sometime soon.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I mean,
yeah. Well,
all of them bands are just phenomenal. They're young, hungry, especially Sons and Valentine and Whiskey Grin. I mean, Whiskey Grin is young and hungry. They're just young, but they're just going. They used to be
still hungry.
I'm old and hungry.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, you got to show that you're hungry. It's not like I'm just up here going through the motions. You watch any one of them bands, and a lot of bands that are coming out nowadays they show you that they want it. They're going after it, and I feed off that. When
there's a reason behind that, Mike. And forgive me for the thing that I've noticed, and maybe Roy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were talking a little bit earlier about nostalgia, and how you listen to a Judas Priest record, for instance, was one of the ones you referenced. How these albums instantly transport you back in time to a place when your life was different, and it just brings you to a place that you enjoy and that you're nostalgic for. And I've said it before, and it was a phrase that was coined by Dwayne Morano, and it's, you can't buy nostalgia. The reason why these bands like Steelcity, bands like Asphalt Valentines, bands like the Native Sons, bands like Wild America, the reason why they're so hungry is because we don't have the nostalgia. We're earning your respect now. And that's the reason why we want to make our impression now, because we don't have the 20 years ago to fall back on. Right. We need to make sure that when you come to see us, you remember it and you're like, these guys are good. They can hang with anybody. And that's the testament, a testament to all the bands that we're talking about. And that's the reason why you see a lot of these younger bands that are so hungry, because they want to earn your respect now.
They want, like we used to do back in the day. I mean, go to your friends and say, hey man, you got to hear this. Hey man, you got a word of mouth. If I see somebody that's not bringing their A game and just going through the motions, don't go see them. And then that travels. I mean, people find out, and then they don't go see it. But if I say, "Hey, man," or these guys are fantastic, you have to see them. They're gonna, one, maybe two might take my advice, or nobody, but might go see it. Word of mouth is everything in this game.
And that's why we're looking forward to going to Rockin' Pod and sharing Steelcity at Rockin' Pod. We're going to do an acoustic set at Rockin' Pod, me, Roy, and JC. But aside from that, it's a great opportunity, because not only are you going to be able to, Roy's going to be able to do the rare hair. We're going to have the acoustic set, and
Roy has rare hair.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's because Roy's a good-looking man. I'm not going to lie.
I do him.
So. In addition to that, I know JC is working into putting the final touches on a show that we haven't announced yet, but it's coming, and we'll be able to announce that real soon. So we're gonna, our goal, for going to Rockin' Pod is to spread the word of Steelcity, just as Native Sons is going there to spread the word of Native Sons. We need to get out there, and these new bands, need to be heard. With all due respect to the one thing that I love about it too is there's so much great music coming out of the United States. Everybody always turns to Europe and they look at all the bands, they say how great they are, and they are. I mean, these guys kick ass. They are. But let's not forget about our own backyard, man. There's music right here. And there's a lot of great music to be discovered. So
it's not going to be discovered just sitting on your couch.
That's right.
Go out there.
I do find it kind of funny, and I'd like to leave you guys on this note, man. Check this out. Have you noticed the TikTok thing with Greta Van Fleet?
No, I have not.
Okay, apparently, the younger generation has finally discovered rock music through a clip of Greta Van Fleet playing on Saturday Night Live. I think in the year 2005. Was that the year? It was a couple of years back when they played Saturday Night Live. And there's like a TikTok trend going on right now where the guys playing on stage, and they have the split screen, and they're putting their pets up that's mimicking the movements of the singer, because he does his head to the side while he's singing. Their people are doing their jobs. Right? So while this TikTok trend is going on, the new generation of kids are going, hey, who's this band? Hey, what is that? Hey, that sounds kind of cool. Kids, it's called rock and roll. And you came to it by TikTok video, but welcome aboard, kids.
Welcome aboard.
Whatever gets you to the party.
Whatever gets you to the party, man. You know,
go figure. This one saw it because she cannot stay up. She cannot stay on TikTok.
Yeah, she knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it's everywhere now. I mean, I've seen it, and it's starting to duplicate. And now people are doing Stitch videos, and it's these people in our generation that are going, hey, you guys are just now discovering rock and roll through this. This is what, but it's
like you said, it doesn't matter how you got here. I don't remember how I got there, you know, but I got there somehow, and everybody got there. We weren't born going rock and roll. Rock and roll. Where's rock and roll? You found it. You know, I grew up in the 70s. You know, I was a kid in the 70s, and you know, disco I did not like, but the yacht music, you know, yacht rock, I dug it, you know. I dug it, and then, you know, you found your way to rock and roll, you know. It's just,
oh, screw that, man. I love disco. I love yacht rock. I love it all.
Good music is good music is good music.
Good music is good music.
And as the kids, you know, look, man, trends may come and trends may go, but there's always going to be one constant, and that's music. Music may be shitty for a decade, and it may be great for a decade, and shitty for a decade and great for a decade. It goes in cycles, but there's always those gems in those decades, and those kids are just now starting to kind of to come to you know, the rock side again. They're kind of discovering, you know, through Greta Van Fleet, they're discovering Led Zeppelin, you know. Right. I mean, it's a pattern, and you know, whatever brings them to the party.
Right. Okay. I know we've been at this an hour. You guys are probably itching to leave.
It's dinner time.
Yes. Message to your fans. What do you want to say,
Mike?
Oh man, I just want to say thank you. There's really not much else that you can say. Just thank you for the support. Oh, by the way, Jim Hamby, I'd love to chat with you guys at Rockin' Pod, dude. We'll set it up. Like I said, just PM me on Facebook, and we'll get something set up. Sweet. But yeah, dude,
Jim Hamby's a good dude.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who actually takes the time to listen to Steel City and supports the band. I mean, to me, it's you know, there's so many other things. You know, everybody's, like I said, you know, listening to their favorite old bands and all that other stuff. For the people that have reached out and discovered new music, thank you. We can't wait to play live for you. We can't wait to put out more new music for you, and we just feel blessed to be able to do what we do.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and to echo Mike's sentiments, you know, I mean, a big, huge thank you to the fans. You know, the whole Steel City project has been fantastic. The Cold Sweat fans have opened their hearts to it, and my Fifth fans have also opened their hearts to it and stuff. You know, it's all love, and it's all about rock and roll. I hate putting any type of labels on anything. You know what I mean? I think that we all should fly under the banner of rock and roll, and all of us just continue to put out quality products and be good to the fans. And as long as we got great people like B-Rock here and Brad Lee and all the other people that you know, keep the thing going, we owe a lot of thanks to them. So from the fans and everybody to the network underneath that makes the whole machine run, thank you so much to everyone. We're looking forward to seeing everybody in Nashville.
Oh, yeah. Keel said it best. They said exactly what you just said. Under the flag of rock and roll, we are United Nations.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely. And you know, it's just absolutely, you know, that song just captures it. We are.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you. You guys are fantastic human beings. I loved hanging out with you when I got a chance, and I got to say that's an improvement. Did the head shrink? Did it go through a Beetlejuice kind of thing?
Not this head. Not this head.
Not this head. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Steel City, for being here. upcoming, I got Babylon Shakes on July 29th. So be here for that. And at
North
9
Carolina
o'clock,
boys.
North Carolina boys, Chris Clark and his gang.
Chris Clark, love that guy.
Coming up at 9 o'clock tonight, head on over to the Metal Summit. They got Bill Spears, great guitar player from Stone Whiskey.
Stone Whiskey. We are playing with Stone Whiskey. We're playing with Stone Whiskey Saturday night, the 5th.
Saturday night, the 5th is.
Theater in Raleigh. Going to be playing with Stone Whiskey. So, great band. You got a great show coming up, man. Great talent. Yes, yes.
So get over there. Check out the Metal Summit with Jay and his crew. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Roy.
Thank
Love
you
guys.
Bye, guys.
Can't wait to see you
you,
again.
Later.
Take care.
See you.